About going today than he was yesterday.
No.
Next
Today
week.
is Cameron's first day of school, so we're kind of excited about that.
Yeah.
Backyard Musings, I'm Steve.
I'm Scott.
Thanks for joining us today. We promised you that we would talk about the Democrat Vice President pick, Tim Walz, and we're going to do that.
Interesting cat.
We're going to try and be unbiased. We're going to present to you what we know, and then we're going to break down the qualities of what a president should, like the cabinet members, and what he's got to know, right? Because he would be one heartbeat away from the presidency. So we want to test him on commerce and labor and education and HHS, all that stuff, energy. So we looked into his background. So here we go. We want to take a look at Kamala's questionable decision making. I think it's questionable that he chose him, right? Walz comes from a deep blue state and is unpopular among Republicans there. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's obvious. This guy is, I mean, looking at him at a podium, he looks normal, I guess you could say. But as soon as he opens his mouth, man,
his actions,
his words are pretty radical.
Minnesota Democrats are out on the fringe on the left in Minnesota. Just take, for example, Ilhan Omar and Amy Klobuchar.
Could you imagine either one of those in this cabinet? Oh my. Okay.
Well, I'm assuming that if they get elected, they're going to keep the cabinet they have that Biden had, unless some drop out, attrition. They don't want to work with her or whatever. They're done putting up with the.
Well, and that's another thing, right? She's had quite a turnover in her her little group,
92%.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
Unprecedented.
So I can see them. I can see most of them, if not all of them, bailing.
I mean, I guess the chief of staff gets burned out, because the chief of staff is probably there at 5 and leaves at probably 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's some positions there that, for lack of a better term, are underpaid for what they do, but it's still, with her. I mean, she just, again, I've never interacted with her, but from what her staff record is, it shows that she's kind of mean, I guess, to say the least, right?
Yeah, and we know that she doesn't prepare. Her staff tries to prepare her with talking points and stuff, and she just does the speaking without thinking thing. Let the universe tell her what to say.
Yeah, and again, normally after an announcement of this magnitude, right, announcing your running mate, you'd have a press conference, right?
Yeah, you would.
And that's been crickets, right? We haven't had any kind of a press conference.
Nothing. So. Well, remember when Sean Hannity was doing the countdown on when she was appointed as border czar, what we call border czar,
but I thought she said they said 30. She wasn't border czar. Well, but now she's back to being border czar.
Well, anyway. No, I'm just saying she was responsible for issues at the border to try and fix the root causes, right? And Hannity was doing a countdown. 100 days she hasn't visited the border. 130 days she hasn't visited the border. Remember that countdown that he was doing, or the count up, I should say. Well, same thing with her press conference. Yeah.
Nothing.
So why did Harris not pick someone from a purple must-win state like Pennsylvania or Arizona, right? And there's some chicanery that went on in Arizona, and we're going to talk about that.
Oh yeah,
we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, that's
tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
Great topic. Yeah, it's
great
all
news
starting
for
to come
Carrie
out
Lake.
here.
Yeah, it's starting to come out.
Yeah.
Okay, it took a while from the 2022 election,
right?
But we're going to talk. But I mean, Arizona is a battleground. So is Nevada. Why not pick or Georgia? Why not pick someone from there?
And you talk about one of the top 3 or 4 states that's been affected by the open border. Arizona, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're right there. Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, California. I mean, those guys are like right on the front line. So I don't know. I don't know why anybody would support anybody that's for open borders, and not only open borders but open checkbook. Let's get them here and then give them whatever they want.
There are people that want that. I mean, they're either never Trumpers or the people that want it. Yeah. So Shapiro even tried to, for lack of better words, it may sound like a slur, he tried to un-Jew himself, because he's Jewish, in order to get onto this ticket. And he's a popular governor from a purple state. But Speaker Johnson said that he thinks Kamala didn't pick him because because Jewish. She didn't want to upset the Muslim base.
Well, I heard the squad was really giddy about him not being picked. So
yeah,
they were pretty
well,
happy.
squad -1 now. Corey Bush, she got
yeah.
on her primary.
That just breaks my heart.
Get him out of here, man.
Yeah.
Okay, Walz will not do much to appeal to never Trumper Republicans, right? He doesn't impress never Trumpers.
Right.
If rhinos were trying to rationalize a vote for a Dem candidate, it just got a whole lot harder. You know what I'm saying? With Tim Walz, because he's radical. Think about
they
this.
say he's more left than Bernie. Right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's and that's pretty left.
Yeah, and we're going to show some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Think about this. The last time that Kamala and Tim Harris teamed up, Tim allowed Minneapolis to burn to the ground, and Kamala, helped bail out rioters when she was a senator.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Raising money for that fund to bail out the rioters. Which one is more radical?
Yeah, it used to be where they tried to do these things kind of on the QT, and lately, in the last maybe 5, 6, maybe 10 years, they're out there, man. They're not hiding anything the way they feel. So,
well, I think they the lust for power. They've slaked the lust for power, but it's still there.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think they've known how to crack the code with that 3 a.m. unverified signature voting block.
Yeah.
But Judicial Watch has cleared 4,000 of those people off, so they can't get to those 4,000. And we saw another article about how doctors are getting like people who maybe in an insane asylum that can't vote for themselves or rationalize, getting them to sign up to vote and harvesting their votes. How low can you go? We're going to get a segment on that. We've just found some initial an article, and we want to do a lot more research on it.
Yeah, and that goes along with a few years ago there's a few states that wanted to lower the voting age to 16, right?
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty low.
To 16, and so we're going to talk about. I think you're going to talk about. I think
we're going to point out some good things about this guy before we.
Well, but he's bringing in a sanctuary state for transgender children medical procedures, right?
That's scary stuff.
Children can't vote till they're 18.
Right.
They can't drink alcohol till they're 21. How can they make a decision about cutting off their genitalia?
Yeah.
Tell me that one.
Yeah, let's send our kids to school on Monday and come back on Tuesday, and
they're a girl.
Jane is now Johnny, or Johnny is now Jane. So.
Yeah. So.
All right. So here we go. So a little bit of good about old Tim Walz before we blast him. So Walz is has executive experience as a governor. That's obvious, right?
It's a good one.
And so that bodes well for governance of the nation.
Theoretically.
I guess.
Theoretically.
Right. At least he's not a congressperson or something like that. That's just
he was.
He was, yeah, he was. So this means he was commander-in-chief of the Minnesota National Guard. This means military decision-making experience, I guess, right?
Yeah, and plus he's the boss of the state troopers, so law enforcement type stuff. Yeah.
Walz retired as a field artillery command sergeant major from the National Guard, and this could appeal to veterans, right?
Yeah, that's pretty high up, sergeant major.
Yeah, so while a congressman, he served on the House Agricultural Committee, so this also appeals to farmers, I guess. I mean, serving on a committee, okay. I mean, good for him. He was a teacher, so this appeals to teachers and the teachers union, and we know where they stand.
He's a union guy.
Yeah. As a football coach, he also helped Mankato High School win a state title, the first of several years. And it should appeal to everyone, I guess.
Yeah, I like that. He coached a team that went to the state championships. That's a good check mark.
Yeah.
Now let's blast the dude, shall we?
That's an accomplishment there. Yeah.
So he would be one heartbeat away from the presidency. We said that. So does he have domestic and foreign policy chops? Let's see from his past actions. Health and public safety, right? HHS. Walz mandated indoor masking and created a tip line for people to snitch on their neighbors not wearing masks. A tip line.
Yeah, how special is that?
Yeah. That's Orwellian. Report them to us so we can take them down.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Yeah.
He also codified Minnesota abortion rights into their constitution. Well, states can do that, but he's the one who spearheaded that. you know? So if you're a pro-lifer, you don't like that. If you're a pro-choicer, you do like that. Safety first, right? So he also made Minnesota a sanctuary for children seeking trans medical procedures. We said that. This is sick. And by sick, I don't mean good. I mean, it's crazy.
It's like, yeah.
It's irreversible.
Nauseating sick.
The chemical castration type stuff, that's irreversible. You can't. I mean, I guess with breasts, you could put implants back in if you take them out. But
I mean, that's almost like child abuse, right? I mean, that's just bad.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
I guess I would go so far as to agree with you on that. It's child abuse.
Yeah, and I don't know. So, all right, now education, universal free breakfasts and lunches for all students.
I don't think
That could be positive for some.
Yeah, if it's done right.
Yeah. However, federal prosecutors charged 70 people with defrauding the federal food programs that funded meals for kids. Measly $250 million. That's a lot of money.
Wow.
That's a lot of lunches going in the trash can.
I know, man. I mean, gee whiz. It's altruistic and it's nice, but it gets, abused.
Yeah.
Under the Democrat noses, it gets abused. I suppose it happens under Republicans too. But they're all about tax and spend. So
yeah.
So it kind of mixed here on the education. Right? Kind of mixed. Law enforcement. As Attorney General, he'll be responsible for, or as supervising the Attorney General, that office. So it's prosecution and law enforcement. So 4 days of unbridled rioting in the Twin Cities that saw many businesses, some black-owned, burned to the ground. Very indecisive and ineffective in protecting public safety. The riots resulted in the siege, sacking, and burning of a police station, and it still has not been renovated or rebuilt. That police station. It's just a scar.
I saw a clip from a press conference that he did during this period, and he was almost egging on or encouraging the rioters and the looters during this period. I mean, it was bizarre.
Yeah.
This guy's supposed to be protecting the better good of the state, right? And he's basically saying that, hey, this is how they act. This is what they need to do, and that's wrong.
It is wrong.
I mean, anyway.
And defund the police found its roots in Minnesota. That's where it came from the
George
riots.
Floyd, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Department of the Interior. So Walz invited illegal aliens to cross the border by giving them driver's licenses, which allowed them to vote. I mean, come on. That just
to vote locally, right?
Yeah.
Not on federal. They don't do that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We need an audit.
Yeah, sure.
And establishing an office for new Americans to inform illegals of federal and state benefits and integrate into the U.S. That's
nice, isn't that?
Inviting them in and giving them the open checkbook, man.
That's great for the illegals.
Yeah, tuition-free college programs for illegals. Why are they going? Aren't they going there instead of California?
Well, Washington's got bennies too.
Yeah. And expanded access to Minnesota Care, which is kind of like their Obamacare, right?
Like Medicare, CalCare, whatever.
Yeah. Providing medical services to illegals, and the free breakfast and lunch for students.
Let's not forget that. Yeah, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Okay, so I think
I think
that the interior. I mean, the interior for federal is like Indian relations, that kind of stuff, But it still matters. I mean, he's an open borders guy, right? I mean, more so than Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Okay, so defense. There's a Department of Defense. What has he done with regards to defense? Walz refused to send the Minnesota National Guard to the border to help with immigration or border security. Remember, states were sending their National Guardsmen there to help out? He said border enforcement is a federal issue. Technically, it is, but if you've got someone who's broken the law in your state, shouldn't you address that? He's trying to say, well, our meager resources, we need to provide for safety of our I don't know if he said citizens or constituents, residents, or something like that.
I don't know if he really cares about those people, right? I mean, again, he let that city burn.
He let the city burn, right?
And just giving away taxpayer dollars, So
Office of Director of National Intelligence. So the Director of National Intelligence manages the whole intelligence community. CIA, DIA, Marine intelligence, naval intelligence.
Yeah, this is again that and what we talked about with Department of Justice, right? Attorney General stuff. Those things are already jacked up. We need changes there.
So he's got no experience with the intelligence community, and
Right.
as a matter of fact, if that's good, so that the deep state can keep doing what they're doing, right? So that's good. He doesn't let it roll, right?
Yep, and then state foreign policy, right? That's nothing
Secretary
going on
of
there.
State,
Yeah, nothing going on there.
Well, he's invited illegals.
Yeah, other than he's chumming up to the people crossing the border illegally, which, again, we've talked about things here. Facts are facts, right? What is an illegal? It's somebody that's
Truth
breaking the
over
law.
facts. Truth over facts.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
So
what they think,
so we
man.
forget about that statement. Oh my gosh. So yeah, giving them incentives. I mean, wouldn't you come if you were going to get a driver's license and free stuff?
Come from a third world to a modern one?
Yeah, you'd come, man. You'd be there. So
Entitlement.
yeah, and then we talk about commerce. So Walz emphasized the importance of small businesses in Minnesota's economy, although he let a few of them burn. However, his martial law attitude during COVID really hurt small businesses. Minnesota has been recognized as a top state for business, ranking high in both business climate and overall happiness.
Except during COVID.
Yeah, I don't know. So,
When you get snitched on.
Yeah, exactly. Don't wear your mask. You're gonna get a
Indoor masking.
Yeah, that's just over the top. And of course, now we know that masking thing probably did little, if
More
anything,
harm.
right?
More
yeah,
harm.
more harm,
Yeah.
right? Walz has a history of voting against trade deals that he believes do not prioritize labor and environmental standards. This aligns with a broader work-centered trade policy.
You
Again,
guys make the call.
Yeah, that's
whatever you think regarding
pro-union guy, right?
Yeah. Okay, transportation. Walz supported $380 million for Minnesota DOT, 8 new infrastructure projects throughout the state. This is part of a corridors for commerce legislation. I like that. I mean, building up the roads and the bridges, the racist bridges.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
Racist bridges.
that's good. It needs to be. It's a safety thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Agriculture, Minnesota Farmers Union President Gary Wertish says Walz is a champion of agriculture who really understands its importance to Minnesota.
I like that.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, if you got positive things that the farmers are saying,
Yeah.
I'm all good with that.
Yeah.
Housing. Walz's most notable achievement is a state $1 billion housing omnibus bill signed into law in 2023. It covered down payment assistance, housing infrastructure investments, and workforce housing support. If there's no grift, we love it, right?
Yeah.
This has got to be watched and managed so that the money doesn't go into pockets.
Yeah, and hopefully there was some vetting there, because even though you're getting assistance to put a down payment on a house, I mean you still got to make the payment, right?
Yeah.
And so and right now our housing climate is not real good. So
It's not. Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
So we're not for sure on what other chops he has, is treasury or energy. Those are cabinet positions. He's going to be supervising them with the president. So not sure, what he's going to do there. Print more money, probably.
Yeah. And I mean, this guy's got more governing experience than Kamala does. So maybe this is almost going to be like
definitely. Well, it makes her look good, definitely, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's just Walz. Anybody would make her look good. So, what did Nancy Pelosi say about Tim Walz?
Yeah, this comes from Nancy, which again, she's from our great state. Tim Walz is wonderful. To characterize him as left is so unreal. Are you kidding me?
Why would we do what?
Yeah, it's just not. He's just right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
He's an heartland of American Democrat. Okay.
Is she lying or not? No, she's not.
She has no
if she
idea.
thinks that the new center is the radical left, then she's not lying, right? She can say it straight face to you. But when you look at radical right and left and center, he's not center. He's like worse than Kamala. So I gotta think that she's lying. I really have to.
I mean, she goes to lunch and dinner at the same place President Biden does. So just, you can believe whatever you want to believe. I don't think she really knows what's going on.
The idiocracy and the nation is going to take a new turn for the worse if they're elected. You agree with me on that?
I do, yeah. This is
Lurch for the
bad.
left.
Yeah, our favorite 3 words.
I think it's bad. Yeah, vote them aus.
Yeah.
Aus, Hans, get them out.
Yeah, this needs to. We need a change, a positive change here. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. I want to kind of make the prediction that we want to revise it. You know how I said Biden would be last. You know, and RFK would have more votes than Lurch had. So now we got Kamala and Tim Walz. I'm kind of thinking the same, that the never Trumpers are going to vote for RFK because they don't want to vote for Walz, right? And Kamala. So I kind of think the same. You're going to have vote wise, not electoral votes, but popular vote. Kamala will be last, RFK will be ahead of her, and Trump will be way up here. Is what I think.
Hope so.
That's what I think.
Yeah. I just came out this morning about some of the states that are, undecided. They're going to be the swing on it. So
and Trump is getting, now that he's not bridled in court, he's getting out there and he's talking. Trump needs to talk about the positives instead of bashing. I mean, he can bash a little bit, but don't take an hour and a half to bash someone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd rather have him just continue to talk about the policies.
Yeah, what he's going to do. Yeah, the Trump
47
agenda.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trump 47.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care. Have a good day.